Biopsy of ocular, adnexal, or orbital tumors is performed to establish the diagnosis, establish tumor boundaries, identify high-risk features, prognosticate the outcome of the patient, and the need for adjuvant therapy. The main types of biopsies are excisional biopsy, incisional biopsy, punch biopsy, shave biopsy. Techniques are selected based on the characteristics of the lesion, possible diagnosis, location, and surgeon's preference. Additional techniques which aid in the final diagnosis are intraoperative frozen section for diagnosis or margin control, map biopsy to assess the extent of intraepithelial spread of a tumor, multi-level incisional biopsy to ensure adequate representative sample. Before the surgery, it is important to communicate with the pathologist the details about the case and fill a complete histopathological form. Here, we describe my journey from the eye of a patient to my recognition as a distinct pathology. During this journey, I met a lot of people, some bad who split me from my family, and some good who brought back color in my life. I was born in the safe and secure home of the lower eyelid of the right eye of a 76-year-old lady. For 2 years, I grew big and strong before somebody called a surgeon cut me out. But he did not manage to destroy me and I survived. I started growing again. But the lady soon visited another person whom she called the good doctor. I was no longer welcome and she wanted him to excise me completely. When he examined, there was diffuse involvement of the lower lid margin almost to the entire extent, with suspicious pagetoid component of palpebral conjunctiva. Under local anesthesia, the margins were marked carefully 4 mm from the clinically involved areas on the anterior and posterior lamina. Traction sutures were passed with 4-0 silk on either side of the mark to aid in the no-touch technique of excision. The eyelid margin was incised at the marked site. Excision biopsy was carried out using radiofrequency cautery. Differential dissection of the posterior lamella was done to achieve clear margins. Additional margins were obtained to make sure that not even a small part of me was left behind. A map biopsy was taken from the conjunctiva. 2 mm of conjunctival tissue is taken from the bulbar, fornical, palpebral conjunctiva and caruncle for this. I was carried quickly and safely for frozen section or a cryosection margin control. This is a method of rapidly analyzing a specimen in 10 to 15 minutes and gives intraoperative information to the surgeon. Fresh tissues are used for frozen section without fixation. Each margin taken separately is mounted on chucks or specimen discs using tissue freezing media. The chuck is then placed in the cryostat and frozen rapidly to a temperature of -34 degrees Celsius. The rotatory microtome inside cuts the tissue in fine layers, each about a thickness of 6 to 7 microns. They are then picked up on slides, gently using a brush to prevent the sections from rolling. The frozen section slides are stained with hematoxylin and eosin. Hematoxylin stains the nucleus blue, while eosin stains cytoplasm pink. The pathologist examines the slides and gives the report. Separately sent margins are free of tumor. The surgeon goes on to reconstruct the eyelid. In this case, the Hughes myoconjunctival flap from the upper eyelid was used to repair the lower lid coloboma. Histopathological preparation of a tissue has 4 main steps, beginning with fixation. This is necessary to maintain native composition of tissues. The gold standard for this is 10% neutral buffered formalin. I was transported in formalin and a gross examination was done for the size, color and surface. I was then red-loafed into multiple sections from lateral to medial side and labelled from A to F8. Each of my parts and map biopsy specimen were then placed in a cassette for processing. In this, the tissue is dehydrated, made rigid and impregnated with paraffin wax. Time depends on size and nature of tissue. For ophthalmic tissues, it is around 12 to 14 hours. The tissues were placed in an automatic tissue processor and passed serially through increasing grades of alcohol. Xylene is used as a clearing agent because alcohol and paraffin are not soluble. For half a day, I was soaked in multiple fluids, and by the end of it, I had become tough. After this, they took me to the embedding station. An appropriately sized mold is selected and hot liquid paraffin is poured in. The tissue is then placed in it with a forceps and oriented according to the section desired. Once solidified, the paraffin embedded block is sectioned on microtome into slices as thin as 3 to 5 microns. The section tissue is floated on warm water bath and then mounted carefully on a slide. After drying, dewaxing is done by passing them through decreasing concentration of alcohol before staining. Staining is done again with hematoxylin and eosin. Each slide is then immersed in hematoxylin for 1 minute. Rinsed again, stained with eosin for 1 minute. It is then dehydrated with alcohol. Alcohol is then extracted with 2 changes of xylene. Permanent slides are thus prepared and secured with mounting media and cover slips. Finally, I reach the pathologist, who examines me. He writes up an entire report about me and gives it to the surgeon. They decide to call me sebaceous gland carcinoma with no pagetoid, perineural or lymphovascular spread. Wow, big name for someone so small. It's been 3 months. I heard the old lady is doing well. I'm here with my other fellow tumors. Some of them have been through additional tests called immunohistochemistry. Immunohistochemistry employs antibodies to identify cellular components or antigens which are tissue specific. It is done on sections prepared from routinely processed paraffin embedded tissues. In ocular oncology, this is done for undifferentiated and poorly differentiated malignant neoplasia, differentiating lymphoproliferative lesions, histiocytic lesions, round cell tumors, spindle cell neoplasia, retinoblastoma, uveal melanoma, to distinguish between benign and malignant pigmented lesions, to differentiate between sebaceous, squamous and basal cell carcinoma of the eyelid, and to identify markers that are amenable to targeted therapy. A good representative biopsy by an ocular oncologist, proper handling and processing of a tissue, and a careful examination by a pathologist are crucial for the correct diagnosis, planning further treatment, and explaining the prognosis to a patient. This was my story, and it was nothing short of an adventure. I am now immortalized as a tissue block in a library, just like the Jules Verne book that the old lady finished reading, and when she went to return it, the librarian said, "Hey, you have a tumor growing in your eyelid. Better get it checked." As one story ends, another begins.